Okay, money. Let's talk about the question everyone asks first. So, how much is this going to cost? And the honest answer is it depends. But instead of giving just vague answers, let me give you some real world numbers based on projects that we see all the time around the southeast of England. And more importantly, I'll actually explain why prices can vary so much because that's where most people get caught out. So, kitchen renovations. A standard kitchen renovation usually falls somewhere between 8 to 15,000. That normally would include your kitchen units, laminate or standard worktops, basic tiling, sort of splashback, mid-range appliances, installation labour. But once you start stepping into the higher quality kitchens, then the numbers move pretty quickly. A high-end kitchen renovation can easily reach 25, 40, and 50 plus thousand. Why? It's because things like this add up fast. So you've got quartz or granite worktops, bespoke cabinetry or handmade kitchens, integrated appliances, which are sort of higher level branded sort of ones. Kitchen islands, feature lightings, all your LEDs, everything that goes into that. Some hidden storage systems. A single quartz worktop alone might be 2 to 5,000, depending on the size of the slab. When you start factoring in electrics, plumbing adjustments, plastering, flooring, kitchens can become one of the biggest investments in a home. Bathroom renovations. Bathrooms are usually a bit smaller, but the costs can still vary massively. A basic bathroom renovation normally sits between 5 and 10,000. So that would typically include standard bath or shower, toilet and basin, tiling, basic sort of vanity units, and obviously the labour for the installation. But luxury bathrooms can easily reach 12 to 20, 25,000 or more. It really can get crazy. Especially if you start adding things like your walk-in showers, like the larger format tiles that people are using now, underfloor heating, some bespoke vanity units, recessed storage like the little niches, the little pockets that you have like in the shower or along your wall, frameless glass screens, and again the materials alone can drive the price. Some tiles cost £20 a square metre, some cost £120 a square metre. When you multiply that across a whole bathroom, then the difference becomes huge. Extensions are where the bigger numbers really start appearing. A single story extension in the southeast is typically probably closer to sort of 18 to 2,500 pounds per square metre. It might even be creeping up even higher with the prices that keep going up. So if you was to build a 4 metre by 5 metre extension, you've got 20 square metres, which means that you're realistically looking at somewhere between 36 and 50,000 pounds. But bear in mind that is just the structure. So if that extension includes a new kitchen, you've got your bifold doors, you might have the skylights in the ceiling, underfloor heating, there might be a separate utility room, you've probably done a structural knock through to sort of open plan the space. The total project cost can easily climb 70 to 100k and upwards. Why prices vary so much? This is where a lot of confusion happens. Two builders can quote the same project, or what appears to be the same project, but the prices might differ by 20,000 or more. It doesn't always mean that one builder is ripping you off. It usually means that the scope of work that they're pricing is actually different. The biggest cost drivers are structural work, so removing walls and installing stills. That can add several £1,000s worth on top of your jobs. Steel beams alone, depending on the size, can be 1,500 to 5,000 or more, depending on the size and the access. Material choices, there's an enormous difference between laminate worktops and quartz, ceramic tiles versus porcelain tiles, off-the-shelf units versus a bespoke-made joinery piece. Taps and stuff can vary hugely. The finish you choose directly affects the budget, obviously. Access is a big thing. So if materials can't easily be brought into the property, costs are going to increase. So scaffolding, cranes, if there's narrow side access and difficult parking, they all add time and labour to the project budget. Another one is unknown issues. So like older houses often hide problems like rotten flooring, outdated electrics is a big one, plumbing issues, structural movement. These things they're not always visible most of the time until work starts, until you start peeling off the layers that have been covering it up for all those years. And then we get mid-project changes. So changing your mind halfway through a project is one of the fastest ways to increase costs. So for example, if you're moving a sink after the plumbing's already been installed, it might mean that there's new pipe work. There might be some tiling to be redone. It's extra labour on top as well, and those small changes can quickly snowball. And then before you know it, it's cost you a lot more money on your project. So good pricing versus bad pricing. So this is something homeowners really need to understand: is that the cheapest quote is not always the best deal, and the most expensive quote isn't always the best either. So warning signs of quotes that are too cheap is like no itemised breakdown, the large cash discounts are offered, there's no contract or written scope, unrealistically short timelines, vague wording, sort of like allowance for materials or something. They might even just send it by text, not even an actual sort of proper estimate. Sometimes the low quotes, they often mean that corners are being cut. Materials are probably being downgraded, and unexpected costs will definitely appear later. Signs of a good quote. A good quote should include a clear scope of work, material specified, clear payment stages, an estimated timeline, terms and conditions, the warranty details. That protects both sides. So how homeowners can control costs. So if you're planning a renovation and you want to keep costs sensible, as most people do, so here are a few tips from me. Focus on the layout first. So a smart layout improves a space more than expensive finishes can. Keep your plumbing where possible, sort of keep it in the same places. So like moving sinks, toilets and boilers, is obviously going to add significant cost. Finalise decisions before work starts. We mentioned that earlier in one of the other episodes. Delays and indecision often cause cost overruns. Again, we spoke about that. Mix premium with mid-range. So you don't need luxury everything. Many clients choose premium worktops, mid-range cabinets, standard tiles, and that balance actually works really well. The most important thing is just to talk openly about your budget with your builder. A good builder will help you design around your budget, not push you into something unrealistic. It's great, again, communication, working together. That's, just keep saying about it, it's the most important thing. If you're planning a renovation, you want to know what it might cost for your home. At Rowan Design and Build, we offer free, fully itemised quotes, no obligation. I'll come around, talk through the options with you, give you a clear, transparent price. Obviously reach out to us if that's the case. The next episode, I'm going to be talking about planning permission, when you need it, when you don't, and what permitted development actually means and how it could impact on your job. So I'll see you there.